Hello, very good evening. Welcome to ITV News and Wednesday's calendar.
Hello, these are tonight's main stories.
Anxious times, dismay as Leeds Council says it will shut down mental health centres to save money. Users say they're being robbed of a lifeline.
They're not realising how much they're hurting people, which is awful to see. I just wish they'd do something and listen to us and keep our centre open.
Legacy of hope, how this Yorkshire mum who lost her baby 2 decades ago has raised £1 million to help other poorly youngsters.
For me, it was very much keeping Alfie's name alive, which is exactly what Alfie's charity does.
Little Nippers, the mission to release 100,000 of these tiny baby lobsters off the Whitby coast every year.
And I'm here at the blooming marvellous Great Yorkshire Showground for a sneak peek at the spectacular Spring Flower Show.
But first, people using 3 mental health centres in Leeds say that they're devastated after the council decided they will shut down as it desperately seeks to balance its books.
The local authority, one of the biggest in the country, needs to save more than £100 million over the next year and says it faces making difficult choices.
But those using the mental health centres say that they are losing a vital lifeline and they fear that their closure could fuel a mental health crisis in parts of the city. John Hill reports.
This picture is of my youngest son, Macaulay, that passed away at 11 months old from a heart defect. This is my eldest son, Kyle. Passed away in 2009, aged 20.
As a mum, Jane has suffered almost unbearable anguish, the loss of her 2 sons exacting a heavy toll on her mental well-being. Specialist staff at her local mental health day centre have worked with her for more than 2 decades, providing Jane with care and understanding. But now that centre is to close.
I can't do it. I can't go anywhere else. I'm sorry.
It means that much to you?
Definitely. Definitely.
Why?
Because it gets me out of here and speaking to people that have gone through what I've gone through and can understand how I'm feeling.
Well, this is the Stocks Hill Day Centre, or Hub as it's called, and it's where Jane comes for help 3 times a week. In fact, it helps around 70 people with their mental health issues. But now it's one of 3 such centres across Leeds which are facing closure.
Save Stocks Hill, Hub!
Save Stocks Hill.
Today, Jane joined a small-scale protest, urging councillors to save the centre that she and others have come to rely on.
It's hard to survive without a centre. Most of the people that go to the centre, it's the only people they meet all week. So it's so important.
My worry is that the people who are there who have no family, they will be without any support at all.
The impact on mental health in the West Leeds area is going to be tremendous.
The council says that everyone who currently uses Stocks Hill will be offered alternative sites they could use, including some that are in the local area. And it says there'll be no changes to the level of support that people will receive. For Jane, though, the council has failed to reassure her that the budget cuts won't mean a reduced service and less help for some of the city's most vulnerable.
They're not realising how much they're hurting people, which is awful to see. I just wish they'd do something and listen to us and keep our centre open, because that's what we need.
Yeah, you can see it means such a lot to Jane, and that was Jane Hall ending John Hill's report there, and we thank her for sharing her story. And just to say, you can find links to where you can get support on our website should you need it.
More of the day's news now, and police have launched a murder investigation after a man was found dead at a property in Shipley. Officers were called to Stead Street at 9:30 yesterday morning, where a 43-year-old man was found dead at the scene. A 65-year-old man and a 54-year-old woman have both been arrested on suspicion of murder and remain in police custody.
Meanwhile, a man has been charged in connection with a shooting in Bradford. Police carried out raids at several properties across the city in connection with the incident, which happened in a car park on Oak Lane in the Manningham area. 24-year-old Mohammed Kamal, who lives on Girlington Road, has been charged with attempted murder and possession of a firearm.
Fresh off the back of Leeds United's promotion to the Premier League, the club is one step closer to having its capacity at Elland Road increased to nearly 56,000. At a meeting today, the council voted in favour of giving the land it owns around the stadium to the club, a move that was vital in order for any development work to be given the go-ahead. The council will soon start a consultation period with the club's owners to discuss plans for the expansion.
Well, next to a story of hope which is born out of tragedy, with a mother who lost her baby boy raising £1 million to save other critically ill children.
Fiona Martin, whose son was born Alfie, was born in Harrogate, set up a charity in his name after he died 23 years ago.
Today, she and a team of volunteers donated a new scanner to the Leeds Children's Hospital, the latest in their incredible fundraising mission. Katie Oscroft was there.
Nice big smiles as you're chatting to each other.
A potentially life-saving donation in memory of a baby boy who lost his life 23 years ago. Fiona Martin and her team of volunteers turned heartbreak into a way to help other families.
We lost Alfie through medical neglect during labour, and unfortunately we had a long wait for Alfie to be transferred, and that was a very, very painful wait, and that was the wait that we don't want other parents to have to go through. So the first thing we purchased was a Globetrotter at £50,000, and this is like an intensive care baby bed that clicks into any of the Wymous ambulances in our area.
Now this new scanner will help consultant Lawrence Mile treat more desperately ill babies.
This is an ultrasound scanner. It's called a point of care scanner, so we can switch it on really quickly, bring it to the side of the baby. Some babies sadly don't have a happy ending to their neonatal stay, but many, many do, and this equipment and other equipment like it has really made a huge difference to make sure that as many babies can survive, even if they're born really premature or really unwell, and they can do well.
This is one of the biggest neonatal centres in the UK and cares for around 1,600 newborn babies every year. Some develop complications or become ill, others are just born too soon.
So our next big fundraiser is...
Alfie's friends and family say they'll continue their efforts so that babies can have a better chance of life.
We work very closely with the neonatal team at Leeds, and the list of medical equipment that they needed was always there. It never went away. So we continue to fundraise.
You didn't have Alfie for long, but he has made an impact, hasn't he?
A massive impact. I mean, I guess like most charities, they're born out of tragedy. And for me, it was very much keeping Alfie's name alive, which is exactly what Alfie's charity does.
The Friends of Alfie Martin are already planning their next event and their next donation in Alfie's name. Katie Oscroft, ITV News, Leeds.
Yes, congratulations to everything that's been achieved there. Now then, you're watching Wednesday night's calendar. Thanks for being with us. Still to come on the programme tonight. Up Petal, there's a definite feeling that spring is in the air as we get a sneak preview of the Harrogate Flower Show.
And gorgeous shots of the North Sea taken yesterday. Not quite like that today. Quite a bit of sea fret coming in, but it is warming up by the weekend and it is settling down by next week. A look ahead a little later on.
Thank you, Kerry. Now, next to concerns that new cars are becoming so high-tech that they can actually distract us from driving.
Yes, safety organisations are warning that dashboard touchscreens can do exactly that, and they're urging manufacturers to reinstall good old-fashioned buttons and switches.
Yeah, we'll be winding those windows down soon. We've already banned mobile phones, so could we be facing new changes to ensure that we keep our eyes on the road? Chris Conway has more.
They're an increasingly common sight in modern cars. Technology-filled touchscreens. Now many even operate basic functions like car lights. Some drivers, though, believe the acceleration towards screens by car makers has increased the risk of distraction while driving. Joanne from Doncaster has a screen in her car and says she finds it complicated.
When you're driving and you're looking at that, you're taking your eyes off of the road, and you can lose your concentration really quick. I think you do get overconfident when you are driving to look there and try and do different things on it.
The introduction of screens started around a decade ago. Before that, drivers relied on physical buttons and switches. Now, though, many cars have no physical buttons in the cabin whatsoever, instead opting for large touchscreens like this one here. And in this car, even the heating has to be set through the screen. Experts say that's because touchscreens like this one are cheaper to produce.
You know, if you think about installing banks of switches and buttons into a car, that's expensive.
Ginny Buckley is a motoring journalist.
0 to 60 just under 8 seconds. It's not tyre shredding, but it's more than enough for a car like this.
Our cars are laptops on wheels these days. So much is reliant on software, and of course with that, the screens have become increasingly complex. The days when you checked the oil on your car have now been replaced by checking for over-the-air updates, I'm afraid.
But there are calls for 21st century cars to go into reverse.
We are concerned that some manufacturers are moving completely away from buttons.
To put the brakes on the rise of screens, from next year, Euro NCAP, which tests vehicle safety, will downgrade the rating of any car that doesn't have buttons to control key functions.
It will be harder for manufacturers to get that coveted 5-star rating from 2026 if they haven't got buttons.
It seems despite technological advances, many drivers still prefer physical buttons. They, like the safety standards organisations, hope the cars of the future will instead look more like the cars of the past. Chris Conway, ITV News.
I see, I like a good button, but I also do like my touch screen.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
what about you?
I prefer the buttons.
Oh, do
I much
you?
prefer the buttons, yeah. The chunky ones, the better.
All right, OK. Well, that's worth knowing, isn't it? Now then, the ITV Evening News continues at 6:30. Let's join Mary Nightingale.
Coming up at 6:30, jailed for 10 years, the owner of a paddleboarding company over the deaths of 4 people. Neris Lloyd told her wife just hours after the tragedy that she was finished. It was 100% her fault. They should never have gone in the water. Thousands flock to the Vatican to pay their respects to Pope Francis as he lies in state. And we catch up with the brothers who went viral on YouTube as the platform celebrates its 20th birthday. Do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Thank you, Mary. Yes, I remember that video well. Now then, Ian, do you know what a baby lobster is called, perchance?
What kind of question's that?
Well, I don't know, just pulled it out of the thin air.
No, I don't, actually.
No, well, apparently it's a cricket. And a charity is aiming to release 100,000 of them into the sea off the North Yorkshire coast every year.
Little baby crickets. Well,
Yeah.
the Whitby Lobster Hatchery was set up to replenish dwindling stocks and to ensure the sustainability of the local fishing industry.
Well, last night, 500 of the little nippers, or crickets, were released into the sea. And as Katie Cole reports, just getting to the point that takes a lot of TLC. So this is Vera.
This is Vera indeed, yeah. So you can see her eggs on there.
Meet Vera, one of 12 mother lobsters, known as hens, brought in by fishermen to Whitby Lobster Hatchery. Each hen carries around 10,000 eggs, which will hatch here.
The larvae are hatching out and we're getting them over their most vulnerable stage of life, which is their first 3 stages. So we're raising them to stage 4, where they become much more capable swimmers, they can defend themselves, they get used to their claws. Based on the colour, probably a few weeks' time she'll start hatching her eggs. I'm sort of a lobster midwife, I suppose you could describe my job as.
Once the baby lobsters are hatched, they come into the developing room. And the conditions in here, warm water and plenty of food, allow them to grow. They'll be in here for at least 3 weeks before being released into the wild. In the wild, only 1 in 20,000 baby lobsters survive. The hatchery increases the survival rates by 1,000%. So when it comes to the big release, it's a special moment. The Yorkshire coast, including Whitby, land more lobster than anywhere else in the world. And this project, now in its third season, aims to replenish stocks and make sure they're here for years to come.
Lobsters are really important species along the northeast. They not only play a really important role in the ecosystem, but they also play a real commercially important role for our fishing communities. Communities that have been here along this coastline for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And lobsters are today the main source of income for those communities. They're a good batch, they look healthy, these guys, so you can just like dunk them in and fan them a little bit more.
How do you feel when you get to this point?
Yeah, it's great, it's good achievement. You know, there's been a lot of work gone in to get to this stage, and this is what it's all about, getting these guys back out into the sea and wishing them on their way. Yeah. It's a really great feeling.
The hatchery is a charity, so it relies on donations. Also helping with the release today were businesses who are supporting them.
No, never done it before. It was amazing to see them swim out and try and find their sort of hidey holes and you know, look for the habitat to then grow on, and you know, and hopefully in 5 to 7 years we'll see them coming back and being sort of caught by the fishermen.
By 2030, the team hope to be releasing 100,000 baby lobsters into the sea every year. An ambitious target, but one they say is vital to protect the fishing industry for years to come. Katie Cole, ITV News, Whitby.
And if you pick one up, make sure they've got the rubber bands on, Lara. Good advice for you there. Now then, spring has certainly sprung, and I must admit, I do enjoy spending time in the garden. In fact, garden lovers from all over the country will be making a beeline for Harrogate tomorrow as the Spring Flower Show returns to the Great Yorkshire Showground.
Yes, and if you've got green fingers, well, you'll know that this is the showcase for plant sellers, garden designers, vegetable growers, and people who just love helping you to enjoy the great outdoors. So, just before the weather from Kerry, let's head live to Harrogate now, where Fraser Maud has been enjoying a sneak preview. The lucky chap. How are things looking there, Fraser?
Well, blooming marvellous, obviously, Lara. It's fantastic here. Beautiful day here at the Harrogate Showground, Great Yorkshire Showground. We've got everything on display here at the Spring Flower Festival. We've got great borders. This one's from Craven College in Skipton. We've got show gardens as well. This one's from the Leeds Allotments gardeners. They've just been putting some scrim out there to keep the frost away, if there is any, just to protect their little babies. Looks amazing. Looks very tasty too. We've got rhubarb, lettuce, all sorts growing in there, and we've seen Rosie and Jane sorting that out earlier on. They've been here since Sunday planting up, so they've done a fantastic job. And all around here there is so much inspiration, so much beauty, so many fantastic things to see and enjoy over the next 3 days. I've been having a look, and here's a bit of a sneak preview for you. With vibrant blooms and captivating installations, spring has definitely sprung here in Harrogate. And there's a real buzz for the 200 exhibitors and floral art aficionados.
It's the first time we've showcased, and yes, a little bit nervous about it. It's called The World of Fantasy. So we've based it on different fairy tales.
It's a great vibe being here, especially when everybody's doing the build-up, they're getting all their pieces ready and they're making a diverse sort of selection of exhibits and competition pieces. It's lovely to see and be part of. And the weather's fantastic this year, which is great also, and it makes everybody feel really happy.
Competing for the best outdoor space, the 6 unique show gardens, a much-loved highlight for all budding gardeners.
Really friendly, everyone's chipped in, it's been good fun.
Watching everything come together from just nothing, and then seeing these amazing gardens just appear, and
one of them yesterday did it in about an hour. It's incredible.
It's a real transformation.
We're looking at quality, we're looking at inspiration, we're looking at whether visitors are going to come along and just say, I'd love to have that at home, because there's so much inspiration here that you can take all of that away. And I think all of that combined, plus the fact that it's always a lot of fun, the Harrogate Flower Show. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I love that.
This is a place filled with creative ideas and floral wonders, a real haven for the green-fingered or anyone wanting to be inspired. So if that doesn't tempt you, then nothing will. I've seen another one of the show gardens here. This is from the Green Fingers charity. They provide gardening spaces for children's hospices. So it's a fantastic cause, as so many of the exhibitions here are for. Can I have a chat now with Nick Smith, the show director? Wow, there's a lot going on, isn't there? What's it all about? What makes it so special here in Harrogate?
I honestly think it's spring here, isn't it? It's just beautiful to welcome a season with such fantastic displays, fantastic colour everywhere, and it really gets us out of that winter mood and think, do you know what, this is the season, and it's just lovely to be able to share that with all of our visitors.
You normally have a theme. What's the theme for this year? Something quite dramatic, I think, isn't it?
It is. So in the Floral Art Pavilion we have Swords and Sorcery, which is all about fables and fantasy. So we've got Aladdin up there, we're inspired by Lord of the Rings. There's so much up there that is just a little bit different, but still going back to beautiful flowers, beautiful plants, and just enjoying your outdoor space.
You talk about that being inspiring. That's what a lot of this is all about, isn't it? It's giving those keen gardeners or even amateur gardeners who are just starting out some real inspiration, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and that's from the dozens of plant nurseries with some really fantastic plants to say floral art, to show gardens, to borders, to loads of demonstrations and practical things to just really get you in the mood for thinking, do you know what? My garden, my window box, my window ledge is going to be the place I'm going to be this season.
Fantastic. Well, the weather gods are smiling. Let's hope it's a fantastic 3 days. I've just spotted a bottle of champagne and a couple of glasses there, so I think Nick and I might just have a little bit of a wander into the garden here. Talk to you.
Sounds like you're sorted for the night, Fraser. Yes, thank you very much.
Right, Kerry, what's the weather going to be like if you go to the show?
Oh, I know. Well, gardens have been rivaling it and parks across the region today. It's been 17 degrees. So a big thank you to Sean for this at Hazelwood Castle in Tadcaster. Of course, the bluebells are our focus at the moment. This is from Donna Louise in Nostell Priory and this fantastic one of Homestead Park in York. But yes, if you are going over the next few days to the flower show, it will be dry, the winds will be light and the temperatures will be above average. Maybe a spittle spot perhaps on Saturday first thing, but improving. And Sunday gives a hint of the weather to come over the next few days because it's coming in from the south. We're looking at highs of around 18 Celsius. So it's going to be pretty warm over the next few days, not just for the flower show, but for us. Not warm today though, certainly at the coast. Scarborough was only 12 Celsius. A lot of sea fret coming in, a different wind direction coming in from the north and east. So you had to be cool and you had to hug a lot. Look, I know, rivaling the tiny lobsters, I'll tell you. Look, here's a close-up of Trisha's shot. Everyone was cuddling up. It was a bit chilly at the coast, but everything is settling down and warming up over the next few days. Here's your forecast.
A clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, mixed skies definitely across the region today. A great example, some fantastic old cumulus clouds behind Clifford's Tower in York first thing this morning, but seem melting away. A great morning walk for Mike Swain in Two Dales near Chesterfield in Derbyshire, and some fantastic blue sky against the foliage in Nottingley. A big thank you to Phil for the share. So we've basically been in between systems today, so a slight improvement for most of us, of course, away from the North Sea, where we have got high pressure keeping all the low pressure at bay, but feeding in that northeasterly, so bringing in quite a lot of low cloud, particularly overnight and first thing in the morning. So as we head through into this evening, the clear spells remain in the west for a time, but the low clouds along that northeasterly off the North Sea will work westwards across most parts overnight tonight. So it's probably right over the tops of the Pennines where we get the clearer conditions, but also the colder conditions. For most of us, 6s and 7s as we head towards tomorrow morning, 5:46 and 8:24 are your sun times. Don't be too disappointed with the cloud first thing in the morning. We are expecting it to lift and thin and break up. There will still be some patchy cloud into the afternoon, maybe a chance of a shower, but we're mostly dry, still with some sunny spells. And a decent dose of sunshine out towards the east and that melting away, so hopefully less problematic with that low cloud into the afternoon, but still with sea breezes, 10s and 11s here, inland 15, possibly 16 Celsius. Keeping the system at bay is that high pressure out into the North Sea for a time. We'll see a bit more cloud, I think, on Friday, but the system doesn't come through until early Saturday before fading and then warming up.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go. I can't promise wall-to-wall sunshine with those temperatures, but settling down and warming up, we can go with that, can't we?
Certainly is all warming up,
week of
isn't
April,
it? Yeah, time to get out in the garden.
Nice for those little crickets. Those
The little lobsters, the baby
little
lobsters.
lobster.
Yeah.
That's it. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.